So we'll be talking about AI, and some people might be wondering, InsurTech founder, isn't that some private equity or consulting bro who just got into AI last week to make up for the money he lost trading crypto? What do I know about AI? Well, that was my AI research team back at Stanford, and that was my research. We won best paper for, my partner and I won best paper in computational biology, the largest conference in the world, 800 citations. And if you think that analyzing your terms and conditions document is a little long, try analyzing the entire human genome. Graduated off to Palantir. I don't know how many people are familiar with Palantir. Today it's worth 2 Salesforces or 26 guide wires. Choose your unit of measurement. That was in all of Palantir when I joined. Actually less. A lot of those desks were empty when I started. I was the 3rd backend engineer, and I actually wrote the first AI at Palantir. In the first 10 years, it was like one piece of AI, and it was for spreadsheet imports to make sense of the columns and learn and get smarter when it made mistakes. Functionality that we now have at Socotra. If you squint, you can see my math from it on the board. I must have been presenting it. I was there from beta to 1.4. Release party, you can see those Palantir, Dr. Karp's fro in the lower right. Raising a glass in the back is the current chief research officer of OpenAI. And went to the forward deployed engineering team. As one of the original 4 forward deployed engineers. That's when the team got to 10 people for forward deployed engineers. It was the title and role was invented at Palantir, and I was one of the first 4. That's my background. And I'm seeing in AI some things I've seen before. I graduated from high school in 1996, when any bozo who read an HTML for Dummies book over a weekend was suddenly considered a wizard. And I was wondering how on earth people were paying me this much money for this thing that took almost nothing to learn. And I'm seeing some similarities with what's happened with AI in the industry. And of course, everyone's trying to figure out, oh my gosh, we need a website immediately. And similarly, we need to be using AI immediately. So what is AI doing for insurance? I see 3 main categories. First is it increases IT velocity and efficiency. We've been doing this at Socotra for over 2 years. I'll talk some more about that in a moment. It also helps make smarter business decisions, and it can increase productivity and accuracy for the insurance worker. Let's talk about IT velocity and efficiency. Vibe coding is here, and vibe coding is here. If anyone heard about the issues that AWS had. Now, they've resolved this. For anyone who doesn't know, they're relying a little too much on AI-generated code, not reviewed enough, and had some outages. They fixed that. They're great partners of ours. They're fantastic. Point is, this can happen to anyone. And insurers are kind of stuck when they think about AI-generated code. Too risky to use, too powerful to ignore. I wrote a whole blog post on this, Socotra.com. Go blog, you can read all these details. I'm pulling a lot of content from that, but a lot of additional things as well. I also shared there our actual gains of from AI coding for various use cases. And it's on the website. We'll grab it too if you want. I assume all the folks looking at their phones are looking this up right now. But I'm going to add a few things that weren't in that article, just in the sense for brevity. Some things that people are saying, like, AI can wrap around my legacy, and then I can put anything I want on it. It's like it's like wrapping it in concrete and dropping it to the bottom of the ocean and just assuming it's going to all be okay. That works until you actually need to change anything. When you want to launch a product, there's a regulation change, any of those sorts of things, you've got to go down into the basement with a flashlight and a bat and figure out how you're going to deal with this monster that is your legacy. It doesn't actually help you. Secondly, this one's insidious and kind of new. AI can translate my legacy into modern languages, and then it's easy to maintain. Let me ask you something. Maybe you have a massive code base in COBOL with only 5 people who understand it. Now I translate to Java, and 0 people understand that code base. Have I made progress? You actually need to be able to maintain this. Someone needs to understand this code base. You can't just drop a million lines of code onto someone who happens to know the language and expect them to be able to maintain it. And then some people think that AI is just this glue that I can kind of stick in anywhere and connect to anything. AI does not necessarily connect to anything. Some software is significantly more AI compatible than others. And there's a handful of things you can look at. These are in that blog post as well, but I'll highlight them. So some things to look for. Modular design. Now when I say modular design, everyone claims their stuff is modular. Modular design means that the connections between the modules are documented. You actually have well-documented, robust integration points, plugins, and components that you can separate out. And it uses open languages and formats. There are a lot of people in our space, core software, core system software, policy administration and billing, who created proprietary languages, whole languages, and file formats. At Socotra, we just use JSON, JavaScript, and other equally open things that AI understands. Anthropic does not train their models on your vendor's proprietary file formats. You're out of luck. Documentation, probably number one. Look for documentation, and I don't mean just some reference guide. What I mean is, are you dealing with a piece of software that your engineers could deploy and use meaningfully given the documentation? Could they develop on it just given the documentation? I don't mean they went and did a whole month-long training and afterwards they've got some reference that an engineer couldn't use by itself. Because if an engineer can't do it, the AI can't do it. So, and we're currently the only policy admin system that anyone has ever deployed just given the documentation. And so we take this very, very seriously. Data fluency. Are you dealing with midnight batch jobs? Bad. Do you actually have a data lake that can be queried? Or can you sync with an existing data lake or a Databricks or Snowflake using Delta files? We have a whole blog post about data fluency as well, very important. Also, uptime, is it reliable? Is it performant? All those sorts of things. And MCP servers. MCP is, for anyone who doesn't know, this is a protocol implementation for AI to talk directly to software. All the major mature enterprise software companies in the world implement this now. And think of it this way. A user interface is how enterprise software talks to a human. APIs are how it talks to software. MCP servers, that's how it talks to AI. There are a lot of people who have announced them. I believe we're the only ones with MCP servers because, back to documentation, we're the only ones who actually documented how it works. And let me just, I'm going to go off script. If it's not documented, it's custom bullshit. This is how we create, we've known this for 20 years. Document your software or document it or it doesn't exist. All right, AI can help with business decisions. And there's a lot of startups doing this that run headless, where you can call it. We have some partners, Hyper-Exponential, go visit them. They've got a rater that that can run headless and use AI to make better rating decisions. They also do some other things as well. There's a great ecosystem there. These mostly can connect to your legacy. They connect to us like 5 times as fast, but you can do it either way. But the really interesting part that everyone's excited about is using AI for the productivity, increased productivity and accuracy for the insurance worker. So we know this is coming. The insurance worker is going to get recommendations from AI. It's just going to approve things and handle a few corner cases. That's where it's going. Everyone knows it's where it's going. The insurers know where it's going. The vendors know where it's going. Here's where we are today. This is what we're seeing, because AI's made it so you can code any demo you can imagine. You can't trust demos anymore. People are chasing after them. And then the worst that can happen is the carrier sees a demo they like, and they say, great, you're hired. Let's do this. What are you going to get? They're just going to build another custom monstrosity. And what did you do? You just hired an Accenture or Deloitte with less experience and resources. That's what you've done. And worse, and a lot of carriers are going to make this mistake. They do a $20 million AI project based on what? 2026 AI. And it takes 3 years. It's like, let's go back to 1996. It's like spending $20 million making sure everybody has a shiny new 486 and taking 3 years to do it. We all know how that would end. And this is moving way faster than that was. So, what do insurers need? Enough with demos. We want mature AI. What does mature AI look like? How can there be mature AI? This is all so new. Well, how many Gmail users in the room? Yeah, look at it. How many people noticed one day that happened? That's Gemini. That's how a mature software company ships AI. That's the Socotra Operations Workbench. That's the Socotra Assistant. It's just there. Now, we're not going to just put it on your underwriter's desk someday and let them make a muck of it. We have to turn it on. But it was just released one day. And there it is. And it was picked up. It was covered. It was just a released feature. That's how it is, available for everyone, documented right on our website. It takes about a week to set up, and that week is no engineering. It's because it needs to know your product. You need to give it the prompts, give it your underwriting guidelines, give it your terms and conditions documents, teach it your rules and things like that. We can do this in a one-week POC if you're a Socotra customer. If you're not, back to the things that we've done with IT acceleration, we have an agentic configurator. We can, in 1 week, describe an insurance product of arbitrary complexity with all the templates and rules and rate tables, describe it all, and it will. Claude can spit out Socotra configuration, and you're seeing your product in all of its detail in Socotra in a week. You can do a quick version in a day, but detailed version in a week. So week 1, you configure your product. Week 2, you set up the assistant. And all the demos that we've got on our website, I'll show some in a second here, all of that you can be doing on your product in 2 weeks. That's what mature AI looks like. So what does this thing do? Well, I'm not going to, don't worry, 2.5 minutes left. You're not going to get demoed to death. I wish there were more time, but we can talk later about it. Just drag and drop some files in. This is for like a commercial auto example that we've got, and you can see, make the thing go. I've just got some files here. I got a blank application. Just going to click extract. Select my files. I've got some email or document telling what covers I want. I have an Accord form. It's got some handwritten stuff on it. I've got a spreadsheet with some arbitrary columns, harkening back to the Palantir thing that I wrote. And then, bam, it's extracted. Here it is. It's in here, an arbitrary data set. You can talk directly to the AI with chat. We all know how this works now. You can talk directly to it. You can clean some things up. We've got a little demo here where it's application's missing some NAICS codes, and you say, could you look up and make a recommendation? Oh, I recommend, here are 4 possibilities. I recommend this one the most. Could you put it in here? These are the things that, that an underwriter would do. We're doing this. It's shipped mature code. Integrating underwriting insights. This is an interesting one because you have your risk assessment rules. These are things like, I mean, in this case, it discovers a driver that has been licensed for 20 years and has 1 year of driving experience. According, it looks a little fishy, and it automatically generates an exclusion document. That's what happens here. And then generating your underwriting summary. People spend so much time on this. Such a use case for AI, and it does that as well. And that's what the underwriting assistant does today, as you can imagine, progressing very, very rapidly. So, in conclusion, I mean, understatement of the conference right here. We all know this. It is dangerous. It is powerful. It can be safely harnessed. I can only get into so much detail here. I'll go to Socotra.com. I think it's the second blog post down. I was talking about how to use it for safely for development. Legacy cores severely restrict AI. It's not a magical thing you can sprinkle on legacy and suddenly it works great. You need to look for those AI-compatible platforms. Be skeptical of demos. Look for mature AI. You know what it looks like. I saw all the hands go for Gmail. Everyone knows what mature AI looks like. And try Socotra. With that, I think we're at time.